Italy disrupts Steve Bannons' plan for a right-wing academy in an Italian monastery. Roma. Stefan K. Bannon had plans to train the next generation of nationalists and right-wing culture warriors at a medieval monastery in the mountains outside of Rome. But on Friday, the Italian government put those plans in severe doubt, announcing that it intends to revoke the rights to the property, citing among other things a failure to pay concession fees and do maintenance work. Proceeding with the revocation is thus a duty, an official at Italy's culture ministry, Gianluca Vacca, said in a. The apparent decision jeopardizes one of the projects Bannon had hoped could define his legacy in Europe. UA intended to train future far-right leaders in an outpost previously occupied by monks. Bannon had said, because of the involvement of the former White House strategist, the project has been controversial, and in recent months the Tri-Sultai monastery has been the target of protests in the nearest village. Bannon is an ally of Italy's most prominent politician, Matteo Salvini, leader of the far-right League. But left-leaning Italy's statement on Friday said its decision had nothing to do with political opinions. The vast walled a conservative Catholic think tank called the Human Dignity Institute, run by close Bannon associate Benjamin Harnwell, had won a bid for the monastery in 2017, securing a long-term lease that required annual rent payments of $112,000. Harnwell moved in. The project is definitely going to work, Harnwell told the Washington Post late last year. If got lectured. In a statement Friday, Harnwell said his think tank will dispute the apparent government move with every resource at its disposal, no matter how many years it takes. The Ministry for Culture might be prepared to surrender to every whim of the extreme left. The Human Dignity Institute will never do so, Harnwell said. This is nothing more. In a separate statement Friday, Bannon said, the fight for Tri-Sultai is a microcosm of the fight for the Judeo-Christian West. In a short phone interview, Harnwell said his think tank did not have funding problems and that he has an agreement with the culture ministry officials to use rent payments on renovations. He said it was understood that the rent money would be spent on redevelopment, Harnwell said. The planned academy had caused discontent even within Harnwell's think tank, according to Politico, which then honorary President Cardinal Renato Maria Martino raising objections in a letter to Harnwell in January. Martino said in explaining its apparent decision, Italy's culture ministry referenced a report published several weeks ago in La Repubblica newspaper saying that a letter backing the think tank's business plan provided during the tender process from a Danish bank with a branch in Gibraltar had been forged. The Economist of Bannon told the magazine that everything actually is totally legitimate. All of this stuff, he said, is just dust being kicked up by the left. Stefano Petrelli contributed to this report.
Raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park, pot.